Y'all welcome Tom.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it. Well, I can't tell you how excited I'm about the show tonight. Want to tell you a little bit about the very first time I saw Jason Ringenberg perform. It was a hot summer night in Atlanta, Georgia, back in 1984, actually, sometime back. And I was a much younger man, of course, then, and had a little bit more hair than I have now. But that particular night, I swaggered into the 688 Club in Atlanta, Georgia. And some of you may remember 688, fun place. But the atmosphere was just absolutely electric because this band, Jason and the Scorchers, was playing the 688. Now, the band had already received a lot of notoriety at that point. They were touring on the strength of their EP, Fervor, and it had hits on it like Absolutely Sweet Marie and Help There's a Fire and I Can't Help Myself, and just phenomenal songs. And these were already staples on the independent music scene. So the place was packed. And all of a sudden, the lights went dark. And out of the PA system blared an electrified version of Dixie. Okay? So you get the picture now, all right? And out on the stage, the band comes. And they started the show. And let me tell you, the place was rocking, okay? The sweat was dripping off the walls, all right? And Jason was like a whirling dervish on stage, and the guitar player, Warner Hodges, was twirling in circles and throwing his guitar around. And after 2 hours of this maniacal craziness, I was hooked. Let me tell you, at that very moment, I became a fan of Jason and the Scorchers, and I have remained a fan to this very day. So fast forward to the present. About 6 months ago, I'm on the internet, and looking at some videos on YouTube, and I said, I'd like to see if maybe there's some Jason videos on here. So I type in Jason and the Scorchers, and up comes a video for Farmer Jason. And I was like, Farmer Jason? So I clicked on it, and here's Jason Ringenberg from Jason and the Scorchers playing kids' music to little kids playing, okay? And I found out at that point that Jason has had a very long career. He's, of course, remained active touring for many years, but he has another persona as Farmer Jason, who is a children's performer. And I'm going to tell you, this man has already earned an Emmy Award, and he's probably better known to your children and your grandchildren than he is to you and I. So much to my amazement, he was playing this private show, and I said, well, gee, if he'll play a private show as Farmer Jason, maybe he would do one for me as Jason Ringenberg. And that's how tonight came about. So I think you're all in for a real treat. I want to let you know that you are in the presence tonight of a musician's musician. And I want you all to put your hands together and help me welcome Mr. Jason Ringenberg.
The sky on a hot summer Saturday night, with a spaceship shaped like a bottle of rock and roll. He had a shiny metal beer cake body and a head like a mason jar. That's a honky-tonk maniac from Mars. When his eyes were red and his face was the neon blue, see that he'd already had himself a drink or two. He said, greetings, little earthling buddy, and then he buck-danced up on the bar. He was a honky-tonk maniac from Mars. Believe it or not, he had a double shot in each of his 6 hands. Chased them down with a 6-pack, ate up all the cans. But I knew when he had one for the road, he was gonna go far. He was a honky-tonk maniac from Mars. Steel guitar! forgetting something this morning. I forgot the steel guitar player. Oh, now what do I do? All right, a big Blue Ridge concert welcome for the steel guitar player. All right. Well, he climbed so high, he was plumb out of this world. Checking out all the heavenly bodies on the Blue Ridge Girls. They tried to pick up the jukebox. They kicked him out of the bar. He was a honky-tonk maniac from Mars. Believe it or not, he had a double shot in each of his 6 hands. Chased them down with a 6-pack. Ate up all the cane. Well, I knew when he had one for the road, he was gonna go far. He was a honky-tonk maniac from Mars. And a honky-tonk maniac from Mars. Blast off! The sun hangs low in the western sky. I bow my head and remember now. Someone's lips pressed close to mine, her cool hand upon my brow. Helper's hot in a killer's heart, a shallow grave in an unmarked plot. Crack of gunfire in the dark. Hand in hand we'll walk at daybreak. One more black, one more black, one more black. Trail of tears is winding on, many pass along the road. Dusty soldiers march along as they file one by one. One more black, one more black, one more black. Trail of tears is winding on, frightened soldier run no more. Dusty soldiers march along as they file one by one. One more black, one more black, one more black. Trail of tears is winding on, many pass along the road. On and on with lovers gone, no one passes on this road. Two girls wait by the railroad track for their soldier to come back, knowing this will be their last. One more blue and one more black. 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 Thank you, my friends. I appreciate that. Welcome to Blue Ridge Concerts. .com, as a matter of fact. All you folks that are listening out there in the technology world, I probably should warn you that I'm the kind of person that if I'm around a computer, it always breaks. So that includes if you're listening to it out there. So be sure to have all those, gizmos and stuff turned on so it'll, save your stuff and that sort of thing, because undoubtedly everything's going to melt down in your whole system any minute now if my name's associated with it. That essentially wraps up my set list for the night. So if there's any fans of Jason the Scorchers here? Anybody remember him? Oh, cool. All right. This will be much easier then. All right. Let's do a request. Any requests of any of those songs? My songs, or my songs, or the Scorcher songs, or even Farmer J. Help Us Fire? All right. That's an easy one to do. Grab my trusty harmonica here. This is off our very first record. It was called Fervor was the record. And this is actually, even predates the Fervor record, goes back to my pre-Jason and the Scorchers days. I sang this with a band called Shakespeare's Riot when I was in college. And this was the first rock and roll song I ever wrote. And it's actually, we found a recording of it when I put out my Best Tracks and Side Tracks record 3 or 4 years ago. Sort of a best of kind of record. Anyway, we found an existing tape of me with that band singing that. It was a lot of fun to hear that again. Pull that out. Anyway, a lot of folks thought, I was a serious Dylan head at the time. Well, still am, of course, but in those days, really big time. And a lot of the folks around me thought I'd written it patterned off Subterranean Homesick Blues. It does share some of those traits of that song, the rhythm structure. But actually, I ripped it off an Eddie Rabbitt song. Anybody who thought I was really cool, now you know differently. Well, I'm rolling down the window, listening to the radio. Baby wants me to stay, but I think I'm gonna go. If I had $1, I'd stop by the corner store and buy myself a popsicle, take her to the disco, baby. You're like a bird out on the wire. Every time I get next to you, you holler out, help, there's a fire. Rolling down the highway, nothing left anyway, trying to make a sense out of changing every night and day. I want to be a lover, but you tell me that I'm just a kid, but not another guy. I want to give you love like I did a baby. You're like a bird out on a wire. Every time I get next to you, you holler out, help, there's a fire. Let that sucker burn, mama. Baby, you're like a bird out on a wire. Every time I get next to you, you holler out, help, there's a fire. I actually saw someone on that streaming thing there. Someone said you were from Carbondale. Is that right? Someone said you were from Carbondale. Wow, cool. That's where I went to college. Was in Carbondale, Illinois. And this fellow this person must have saw that band Shakespeare's Riot back in their days. So wow, technology is working so far. Sue from Lopez Island. Wow, cool. Hi, Sue. How you doing? All right, from Carbondale. Right. Good. All right. Well, let's see. A lot of stuff's been going on with me, as Tom said, here the last few years. The big thing this past year was actually Jason and the Scorchers put out a new record. That's right. It's called Halcyon Times. And we put it out on this gigantic multinational corporate label called Courageous Chicken Music. I heard the owner of that label is a real jerk. Be careful. You musicians out there, don't sign with Courageous Chicken Music. The guy who owns that, wow, he's a crook, completely. Anyway, let's see. I think we'll do a song off that now. I wrote this song with a friend of mine named Artie Hill from Baltimore, great honky-tonk singer, and a great songwriter as well. It's sort of about I don't suppose we have anyone here who has any mining heritage in their background? Any miners in your family? Anybody out there online? That's so weird. That's right. Well, anyway, this song's sort of about what it's like to be, from mining background. I come from agricultural people, farmers. All of them were farmers. So it's sort of easy to maintain my heritage, I can, have my own little farm in Tennessee and raise our vegetables and have our pet pig and whatnot and sort of feel connected to my past. I'm sure some of you can share that same sort of thing if you're teachers or whatever. But with miners, it's a whole different thing because the whole mining industry in the United States has been completely gutted the last 20 years or so. So a lot of these fellows who came from mining families, their grandparents and great-grandparents were miners, and they're proud of it. They can't do it, so it's kind of a sad thing to watch. These folks try to adapt to a new life. So we sort of did this song about that. Tom, do you want to sing harmony on this one? Want to? All right. Do you want to join in?
See, if you arrange a gig, the deal is you get to sing.
All right, here we go. I've been working in this mine since 1984. Just like my daddy did and his dad did before. Ride that train and stand in line down where I can't see, trying to break down that wall of coal in front of me. The preacher tried to teach me what was wrong and right, but I learned all my lessons with a carbide light. Down where air is precious, where losers lose it all, where to stand and be a man, you have to learn to crawl. I beat on the mountain with a hammer, keeping time way down in the dungeon, where the sun don't shine, down in the heart of the darkness. You can hear my hammer ring. I beat on the mountain, but the mountain don't say a thing. Back in 37, the strikers shut them down. The bosses brought the hard men in to run us out of town. Nowadays, the union rep still don't know my name. The days of script are over, but the dust rolls just the same. How I love this mountain that my daddy's buried on. Every day I dig that coal he built his life upon. Some folks say that our way of life is out of time, but for now I'm caught between the mountains and the mine. I beat on the mountain with a hammer, keeping time way down in the dungeon, where the sun don't shine, down in the heart of the darkness. You can hear my hammer ring. I beat on the mountain, but the mountain don't say a thing. I beat on the mountain with a hammer, keeping time way down in the dungeon, where the sun don't shine, down in the heart of the darkness. You can hear my hammer ring. I beat on the mountain, but the mountain don't say a thing. 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 Wonderful. Good harmony, Tom. Excellent. So, as we were driving over here today, or tonight, Tom was, we were talking about shows and stuff. I do a lot of shows, you know, close to 300 a year. And you know, I love to perform, of course, is what I do, you know, it's who I am, really. So I love every show I do, but some nights are a little, you know, more special, you know, and we knew driving over that this was going to be one of those nights tonight. All right, any requests? Have any of any requests, basically? My stuff, I mean. Right?
Lost Highway.
Lost Highway. There's a really good idea.
Let me grab my harmonica here. Good one, Mark.
Folks sometimes marvel at my shows that, you know, folks make requests like that and stuff, and they don't know that I have cousins and brothers and sisters all over the country that I pay to do that sort of thing. So. Now this goes back to the Scorchers record, Lost and Found. It was our first real record. LP. It's actually an old Hank Williams song, not a Hank Williams song actually, but he had a hit with it in the early 50s, so people associate it with him. But he didn't actually write it. Leon Payne actually wrote the song, great Nashville songwriter. And after Hank passed away, Johnny Horton started singing it as well. And did a really good version of it. Of course, he's a great honky-tonk singer. And of course, there's other connections between Hank and Johnny Horton as well. Johnny actually married Hank's widow after they passed away and sang one of his signature songs. And actually died as well. So you can imagine, you know, Hank's widow, her attorney, you know, her accountant was, wow, girl, you know, you go. We're racking them up here. Can you marry Roy Acuff and knock him off too, you know? Anyway, there's, you know, everybody sings this song now. It's sort of a standard in the music business, but the Scorchers started singing it in '81, and it was a really cool thing to do at the height of sort of Euro disco, you know, at the time, and everybody had those big hairdos and stuff, and we came out and did this, you know, Hank Williams song all hopped up. It was cool stuff, you know. I'll never forget walking into the Danceteria Club, our first show in New York City, you know, and the Danceteria was this this ultra cool disco, new wave sort of disco, you know, and everybody there, you know, was they were almost all of them certainly on drugs at 4 o'clock in the morning and going crazy, you know, dancing like fiends, you know, to this dance music, this sort of electronic new wave dance music that was happening at the time. And then they had a band go on for like 20 minutes between to give people a break, I guess, from that industrial sort of music. And somehow we got booked for this. I don't know how. I'm certain that the Danceteria, you know, booking person got fired after our set, though. I'm sure they did not have her booking any more, you know, shows for them. But anyway, we went on and did this, you know. It was a great moment in our lives. I'll never forget it, you know. We walked on and there was all these sort of drugged out new wave people, you know, with their big hair and stuff, and they'd been dancing to their techno music, and I said, "Howdy, y'all. Rock and roll ain't dead, and neither is Hank Williams," and sang this song. I'm a rolling stone on a line for a life of sin. I have paid the cost. When I pass by, all the people say there's another guy on the lost highway. I was just a lad, barely 22, neither good nor bad, just a kid like you. And now I'm lost, too late to pray. I'm just a rambling down that lost highway. Don't start to run around on this road of sin. You'll be sorrow bound. Take my advice or a curse today. Started rolling down that lost highway. Yeah.
Well, I can still rock hard as ever, by God.
But it does take longer to recover. All right, I think I'll do a song now off of the Best Tracks record. That's
as I was saying, the Best of Jason solo record I put out a few years ago on Crazy Chicken Music. It's probably, I mean, most folks consider, you know, their favorite or one of my better solo songs. It's called Tuskegee Pride. That was rousing.
They know we're faking it now, so.
Anyway, if you don't mind, I'm going to tell a little bit about the song because it'll, you know, it'll sort of make more sense, the musical. I'd like to tell just a little bit of background
info about the song. And I hate it when songwriters do that. You know, they just go on and on about why they wrote it and where they were at when they wrote it, and, you know, what they were driving and who they were dating, and like, my God, dude, just sing the song, you know? Jeez. But this song I really do need to tell a little bit about, because it's called Tuskegee Pride. And let's face it, most people, you know, aren't as into history as I am, you know. I've sort of had to accept that as I've gotten older. And but anyway, the Tuskegee Airmen, as some of you might know, were a group of African-American fighter pilots during the Second World War. And they were They were actually the first black flying unit that was able to fly combat aircraft by the American military. The military was sort of, they were just flat out against letting black flyers fly combat aircraft to this point because they didn't think they were smart enough to fly these expensive airplanes in the air. They thought they would wreck them and crash them, or they thought, frankly, that they wouldn't have the courage to fight, the German flyers. So they just didn't let them do it. But Eleanor Roosevelt, she had a sort of different idea. No matter what you think of her politics, she was one tough woman, And when she wanted something, she went for it. And she believed it. When she believed in something, she would just not let it go. And she argued with everybody about this thing, She just said, man, having an apartheid military is just really wrong in the land of the free, And she fought everybody, including her own husband, Franklin. He was really not wild about this idea of desegregating the American military, because he had his sort of his power base to keep happy, and a lot of people they didn't want this to happen, So anyway, she kept after him, and finally they sort of relented to her pressure, and they decided to try this experiment, and they would train X amount of black flyers to fly combat aircraft, put them in the air, and see how they would do. It was just an experiment. They called it that. This is going to be an experiment. We're going to see if these guys are smart enough to fly airplanes. So they did that. They took volunteers from around the country, about 600 flyers, and another 400 or 500 or so support people, and trained them how to fly at Tuskegee, Alabama, there at the airfield, at the college there. And these guys, they were pretty into what they were doing. They realized that if they failed at this, it would set back, desegregation another generation at least, So they took it real seriously, and they went through their training, and they were shipped overseas, and at first everybody made fun of them, and they called them names and stuff, and really treated them really horribly. And in fact, most of the white bomber pilots didn't want to be escorted by the Tuskegee Airmen. At this point, they were flying fighter aircraft, P-51s mostly, and their job was to guard bombers from being shot down by German fighter planes, and the bombers wanted no part of it. They just said, no, we don't want these guys guarding us. That's not going to work. But anyway, as the war went on, and more of these guys got into the air, they certainly proved that they were as smart as anybody, and certainly as courageous as anybody. And when it came right down to it, they were the statistics sort of proved that they were as good of flyers as anybody, and probably better than most. They guarded those bombers with their lives. They never let Germans through the fighter screens to get to the bombers. Not one single bomber was ever shot down in the whole course of the Second World War. That's hundreds and hundreds of sorties. And they, of course, they paid for that little fact. 35% of them didn't make it back themselves. To a place where, where when they got back home after doing all this, they couldn't even vote. It's a crazy story, man, and it's true. No matter what, it's true. It happened. And so I was thinking for a while, wow, there's been some movies and some TV shows about this, but really not a whole lot of attention paid to this incredibly evocative story. And I was thinking, what can I do, And then I remembered that, hey, wait a minute, I'm an alternative country legend, I can write a song about this, People will pay attention to it all over the internet, So that's what I did. This is called Tuskegee Pride. Daddy was a sharecropper south of Tuskegee. His granddad was a slave till Lincoln set him free. Me, I was the golden boy my dad swore he would save. He taught me to never see the grandson of a slave. In the fall of '39, Hitler made a mess. But frankly, I didn't see a difference, I guess, from what he was doing and what was done to us. Sometimes I had to wonder, in what God did they trust? So light me up a cigarette and I'll tell my story. 'Cause once I was a fighter pilot trained at Tuskegee. My sister raced home with the news that in Tuskegee, at our famous institute, there was gonna be a fighter pilot school to teach us how to fly. Well, I didn't even hesitate. I ran down to apply. I studied hard and I flew the best. My dad was proud to see. His son was a fighter pilot trained at Tuskegee. They shipped us off to Europe, where still we had to hear those awful names they'd yell at us so very loud and clear. But when we got into the air and bullets they would fly, I felt a perfect freedom in those fatal skies. We were lords of the air of northern Italy, all us crazy fighter pilots trained at Tuskegee. Well, soon they didn't call us names as our boys went down, protecting all those bombers over German towns. We took our share of bullets while far away at home. Our wives took all those bigotries, neglected and alone. My face was burned in 44, as you can plainly see. And I was a fighter pilot trained at Tuskegee. So now I'm in a nursing home ran by the VA. My grandkids came to see me, why, just the other day. And one of them asked about the burn marks on my face. I said, those are scars for freedom, now carry on the chase. But I don't need your platitudes or your sympathy. Once I was a fighter pilot trained at Tuskegee. Yes, I am a fighter pilot trained at Tuskegee. I'm proud to be a fighter pilot trained at Tuskegee. Old Joe, he wasn't a hero, nothing but a coal company man. He'd sit alone, look through his window, watch his corn wither into the sand. He'd go to church on Sunday morning, he'd drink a beer every Saturday night. His mama raised him on corn and molasses and a sense of the unending fight. The well is deep and the seeds are all planted. The price is steep, the bounty is high. To live a love or have it taken for granted. The rope is stretching but the knot is still tied. The son of slaves still feels the bitter lashings of the whip and the tongue. A loose mouth and the white-hooded lynch mob sent Joe from the light of the sun. The baby cries, the Georgia pines whisper, I write to you by the light of the moon. A southern grave still lies waiting. The congregation sings a victory tune. The well is deep and the seeds are all planted. The price is steep, the bounty is high. To live a love or have it taken for granted. The rope is stretching, but the knot is still tied. The well is deep, the seeds are all planted. The price is steep, the bounty is high. To live a love or have it taken for granted. The rope is stretching, but the knot is still tied. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Any requests? Anything you guys want to hear? Both sides of the line. On the acoustic guitar. Well, all right. Ask for requests. I got it. I'll do it. This is off of Fervor record. This is really goes back a long ways. That was our first record. It wasn't a full-length record. It was 7 songs. And so he called it a mini LP, a mini album. And when the record came out, and of course we got, it got picked up by EMI and got us our record deal with Capitol. And it got released around the world. And we got a little fax from the German record company saying that Fervor is the largest selling EMI mini LP in history. So we celebrated big on that one, Although we found out a month or two later that there was only 3 mini LPs released by EMI Germany in history. That time we already told our parents and stuff, so couldn't take it back. Song actually wrote with Michael Stipe from REM.
They used to, we were in the same circuit, starting out. They were, they were definitely at that point, even in 1981 and 82, they were starting to break in clubs and stuff. Anyway, we'd hang out with them, tour with them a lot, put them up when they came to Nashville. They put us up when we came to Athens and Atlanta. And it was big fun, actually. And there was a lot of towns that were lucky to still be standing after we toured.
So anyway, we'll give this a whirl. This is definitely this is as hard rock as we ever got, and this is going to be played by Jason Ringenberg on the acoustic guitar, with a ribbon bow tie. Stands in the sun, satchel in his hand, the sweat and the grime of another day. He's a broken, tired man. Watch his feet fly when they come to try, take his old bones away. With his bottle of gin, he'll be back again and fight another day. What she said, black ain't white. The morning don't ring night. She steps out your dam for all time to walk both sides of the line. As the sun slides down and the children go inside, the times we share come back to me like a thorn deep in my side. And if the mountains fall down and the seas around crumble in my midst, I trade it all for a midnight call and just one holy kiss. What she said, black ain't white, morning don't ring night. She steps out your dam for all time to walk both sides of the line. And right here, our guitar player did some really cool sort of pyrotechnics, like. And I was sort of off stage going, God, that sounds horrible. What is he doing? No. It was really good. Warner, I swear, I really love you. I'm sorry. And the season died. And they asked me who I am. A prisoner of war to be, or a prophet that is damned. The mountains fall down and the seas around, and the walls of Moses rose. God that sees waits for all these who will die before they know. What she said, black ain't white, morning don't bring night. 2 steps out your dam for all time to walk both sides of the line. Thank you, folks. On the acoustic guitar. And the whole world saw me slag Warner on that. All right. Let's save that for the second set, but that's a great idea. That's a good one, too. Well, let's see. Let's do we're sort of in the there's been little themes this whole set you've kind of noticed, so let's do a Driver 8. That sounds like fun. We're in the Michael Stipe thing, he helped write that last song. So y'all might have to help me with the words on this one. I think it's my favorite REM song, though. It certainly is the easiest song to play, and you can actually understand the words and stuff. I don't know if I remember that Pete Buck riff. Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get. I'll just start. Walls we build up, stone by stone. The fields divided one by one. And the train conductor says, take a break, Driver 8, take a break. We've been on this trip too long. And the train conductor says, take a break, Driver 8, take a break. We can meet our destination, but it's still a ways away. Saw a treehouse on the outskirts of the park. Our lines have floaters so the airplanes won't get stabbed. Locomotive 8, Southern Crescent, hear the bells ring again. The fields of wheat are looking thin. And the train conductor says, take a break, Driver 8, take a break. We've been on this trip too long. And the train conductor says, take a break, Driver 8, take a break. We can meet our destination, but it's still a ways away. A way to seal the hated heat. A way to put my kids to sleep. A way to seal the hated heat. A way to put myself, my children to sleep. Piloting a song on a train like that one. Power lines have floaters so the airplanes won't get stabbed. Locomotive 8, Southern Crescent, hear the bells ring again. The fields of weeds are looking thin, and the train conductor says, take a break, driver 8, driver 8, take a break. We can meet our destination, but it's still a ways away, but it's still a ways away. Okay, I completely botched up the third verse. I wasn't even close. Does anyone know the first line of that third verse? If I can get the first. Anybody on song? Okay. You caught REM on their latest tour. You saw us open for REM at the Fox in '82. But do you know the first line of the third verse, sir? Or ma'am? Anybody know? That's the second one. That's the second one. Piloted a song on a train like that one. See you selling fame for the Go-Tel Review. Locomotive 8, Southern Crescent, hear the bells ring again. The fields of wheat are looking thin. The train conductor says, take a break, driver 8, driver 8, take a break. We've been on this trip too long. And the train conductor says, driver 8, take a break, driver 8. We can meet our destination, but it's still a ways away, but it's still a ways away, but it's still a ways away. Good singing. All right. I'm going to do one more song here, and then we're going to take a break. I'm going to eat. I've been running crazy since 4:30 this morning, and I'm going to stop now and eat for a little while. And everyone else can too. And then we'll do some more music in just a little while. Actually, I should say I have the new Scorcher record for sale tonight. That's the first time it's been available at Jason Ringenberg show, as well as that incredibly crazy Farmer Jason character. Last song is going to be was the first song that sort of broke us through in 1984, and it was a Bob Dylan cover called "Absolutely Sweet Marie." Right? I was totally into the Blonde on Blonde record, especially the first side of it. I thought that was, I was 22, and that side it was the greatest book, it was the greatest movie, it was the greatest song, it was the greatest record, in my opinion. That one side, it was the best of everything human, in one record, in one side of one record at that. So I learned it, of course, and I brought it to the band. I sang it to the fellas, and they picked right up on it. They did a great version of it the first time through. They learned the chords and then just nailed this, thermonuclear sort of version of the song. It was an amazing thing to behold, seeing that kind of creativity that fast. And this first time through, and it was there, and we sang that version to this day, 30 years later. But anyway, we put out the record, right? The 7-inch single. They had singles in those days, real 7 inches. Came out, and bit of a hit over the pond in Europe. We were touring over there the first time and playing Holland, Utrecht, Holland, if I remember right. And we were doing an interview with a Dutch national radio station, and the DJ said, "Oh, Jason, I just love your version of Bob Dylan's Absolutely Sweet Marie." And the three guys in the band were with me on that interview, and they go, "What? We thought you wrote that song." So anyway, you want to join on this one, Tom? You want to join the harmony on this one? Yeah. Now, if you guys really cheer loud after the first verse, maybe Tom will even sing the second verse, okay? But don't do it unless they really cheer loud, Tom, okay?
Right.
We've seen that work before. This is really working, that sort of gimmick thing. So
cheer, please.
That's right. Here we go. Well, your railroad gate, you know I just can't jump it. Sometimes it goes so hard to say. Sitting here, beating on my trumpet, with all these promises you've left for me. Sing with me, Tom. Where are you tonight? Where are you tonight, sweet Marie? Cheer!
Well, I waited for you when I wasn't happy. Well, I waited for you when you hated me. Well, I waited for you outside the frozen turkey when you knew I had some other place to be.
1, 2, 3, 4. Where are you tonight?
Where are you tonight?
Sweet Marie. I don't know how it happened, but the little captain, he knows my fate. Rest of his baby.
Maybe you're just gonna have to wait.
I've been in jail, and all the mail shows. A man can't give his address to bad company. Take it to your house, but I can't unlock it. See, you forgot to leave me with a key. Where are you tonight? Where are you tonight, sweet Marie? Well, anybody can be just like me, obviously. Then again, not many of them are like Tom, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
6 white horses that you didn't promise. Finally leave it to the penitentiary. But to live outside the law, you must be honest, darling. I know you'll always say that you'll agree.
Where are you tonight? Where are you tonight, sweet Marie? Where are you tonight? Where are you tonight? Where are you tonight, sweet Marie? God bless you, Tom. Fantastic. Take a very short break. Have some potluck. See you in about 20 minutes.
Everybody stay put. Nobody move. Nobody move. Nobody move. Nobody move. Nobody move. All right. Here's the time. Have y'all enjoyed this? Yeah. Woo! This is the way we thank Jason for being here tonight. We originally said 15, but I would like to say 20 tonight. I think he's worth 20 apiece. What do y'all think? All right? Yeah, 50. Hey, this is for support of Jason. You know, these are independent musicians. This is how they make their money, performing for people like us. And online, we have Jason's tip jar ready to go. And y'all really, we're having a great time tonight. And I hope the people at home are experiencing what we're seeing here tonight, because it's awesome. Tom, you did a great job. All right, we'll pass it around. And wait a minute, let me get mine out here. Hold on. Yeah, this one. Yeah, no. 25. All right. Thank y'all, everyone. There's food in here. And we really appreciate everybody online listening, and I'm not sure who we've got out there. So everybody just enjoy your time here. We'll be back in about 20 minutes, and there should be some music. If you want to check out Blue Ridge Radio, just go to blueridgeradio.org, and you can listen to some music while we're on the break here.